morning everybody, welcome back to the flower patch. My name's Iris Smith, where I make beautiful artificial flower arrangements for all occasions. Welcome guys, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope it wasn't too cold where you were. It is very cold today here in the UK where I live. It is only 4 degrees, which is 39 degrees if you convert it in Fahrenheit. So it's quite chilly. We do have sleet and today as well. So yeah, the scarf's on, the gloves were on when I took Benji. So it was a case of wrap up warm. Right, today I got, I think Sunday afternoon, somebody asked me if I could do a wreath and I include a stag of any colour. So, and obviously they'd like a bow to go with it because they want to do one themselves but not sure how to attach the stag to a grapevine wreath. So that's what we're going to do today. I've got different colours of stags, but I thought let's choose a nice warming traditional colour in the reds and golds with green for this arrangement. So I have got out my velvet red stag with the gold horns, and I thought let's incorporate this. I've had several of these, so this is a new one. I don't use it. I can't remember where I get them from, or got it from, should I say, but you can get them anywhere. They are very popular. So I've decided to use the lovely rich warming red. I've got them in different tones, but I do quite like the dark, like the burgundy colour. So I've done that, and I've done a bow, but I have incorporated a black bow as well. Well, I say a black bow, it has black in the ribbon, but it's got like red glitter, what looks a little bit like diamantes. So I've done the black one in 6-inch loops. The red with the gold garland pattern I've done in 5.5, and I've just placed a 5/8 in the center of just a plain gold glittered as well ribbon, and just got some small tail ends. I'm not sure if I'm keeping the tail ends this long. Maybe I will, I don't know, but I'd rather cut the tail ends longer than I need them, just in case I want to cut them down. So I've not dovetailed, I've just cut a diagonal cut on the bottom as well as on the top ones. So I do quite like the combination of those together. Right, I've got also, I forgot, I've placed on some of this glittered 5/8 ribbon as my hook as well, and just tied 2 loops at the top as a bow, and I've threaded it through some of the grapevine at the back so you don't see it at the front. So I've done it that way, so that will be our hook. And it's a 16-inch grapevine wreath. So for our red, again, I haven't got much out because I don't, well, I say I don't, I do like full wreaths. I do like them, like a lady said, chunky. I do like them like that, but I may do this chunky, I may not. So I've got out some of my red glittered and sequined foliage. Again, I may use some of these, I may not. So I've got those out. I've got some of my red glittered fern also, and my red glittered money leaf, Japanese money leaf as well. But I've also got some of these a new stem of these birch, with them having red and burgundy combined. But I've also got some oddments that I've had left when I was using them on another project. So I'm going to try and use these up. I did, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to incorporate these, but I did get out some of my glittered cutout poinsettias as well. Now, I wasn't intending to place this eucalyptus in. It fell out the bucket. 3 pieces fell out the bucket when I was looking through the foliage. So I just placed them on my workbench thinking, well, I could incorporate those because this eucalyptus is all wired on the stem, so you can manipulate it into any position you'd like. So I may use that. I've also got out just some of what I cut off of a garland last week, some of my pine needles that are flocked. I thought I may incorporate just a little bit of the Christmas touch with the snow. But I've also got these, excuse me. Now these are long twiggy grasses. Excuse me. Now they're on a very long stem, but they're very wispy, and I thought I could incorporate these around the edge. I was going to spray them actually gold, but then I thought, no, I've got quite a lot of gold, so let's just keep them as the green. So I'm going to incorporate those. I don't know why, but I've got 3 stems out. I haven't cut them down because I don't know whether to place them in as one or take them off singular, because they are got quite a few sprigs on just one of the stems. I've also found some ornaments in my gold bucket because I'm using red. What I used a while back, some of my jeweled berries that I cut off a bunch and didn't use the rest of these. So I thought with us using red, we could incorporate these jeweled berries. I've also, with the being jeweled, I've got out, I don't know why I've got 3. I've got out 3, if I can get them apart. 3 also, some diamantes, some jeweled twiggy bits as well. I know they're not the red that we're using, but I thought with it, you know, like crystal, like ice, use them as ice for, like, obviously the snow effect or the winter effect, should I say. So I've also got picks with those on, so I may incorporate those. I've also, I got 4 out. I've also got some gold fern with also, it's a fern and then it's got this one on it as well combined. So you get 7 stems on a bunch. So I thought I may incorporate these as well. I have got out my gold or champagne coloured bay leaves. I love bay leaves in Christmas arrangements. I think that they give off an elegant look, so I thought we'd incorporate some of those. And I've also got out some champagne gold as well of our cypress leaves, and they come on picks just like that in a pack. So I've got those out also. Now I did get these out of my bucket. I think I'm gonna incorporate them, but I haven't. I think I may put like cable ties through the hole, but I've got some little like lanterns where they are like fern leaf on them, so I thought we could just incorporate those. I've only got out 3. I don't want any more than 3, so I'd probably like to put those on top as well. So, and they are just a metal or thin metal material, but I thought they would be nice as well, especially with them having the gold jewels where the leaves on here are also really thin and cut out as well. So that's what we've got for our project today. So I'm going to bring our camera down and I'm going to get started. So I'm covered in glitter, guys. I've done something this morning in silver and I'm covered in glitter. So one moment. So let's bring our camera down. Let's see if we can get in a little bit more like that. If I need anything else and it's not as full, I'll just quickly grab something. Right. So I wanted to start with these birch, to put these in as our background foliage. And again, because these are like leftovers, I thought let's get them used and place them in. Some on single picks, some are still on, well, a couple are still on the stem here, the thick stem, and then I've just got a fresh one out in case. So where's the single picks? These stems are really quite chunky. Luckily the wreath I'm using is relatively loose or loosey-goosey, or quite been, you know, not as tight, so hopefully we can get these thicker stems in. If not, then I will put them on picks. So let's first of all, oh, in fact, do I actually attach the stag? Because what I want to do is place the stag here and then place our bow here, so you can still see the stag. So that's what I was considering, and attaching one of his legs to the grapevine and one of his horns as well to the grapevine, just to keep him in place. So with him being over this side and he's not going to get in the way, let's attach him first. So I'm going to get a cable tie for the lady who was wondering how to attach them. Let's just move those out of the way. So I'm going to go leave where I'd like the stag to sit and get a cable tie, and I'm going to go through the back, come back up, going through back through the grapevine, so your cable tie is on top. Let's get it in position where before I fully attach, and then I'm going to bring the square on the cable tie down here so it's not seen. So I've attached that. I'm going to snip off the excess of the cable tie for that one, and then I'm going to get another one and do the same on the top of his horn. Go through. Let's hopefully it goes, yeah. Oopsie daisy. I may put it there actually. Go through the grapevine with the cable tie, come back up through another part of the grapevine if we can, so it's got some wood to attach to. If it comes up in the same position, just pull it back out so you can got something for the cable tie to attach to. And then I'm going to thread that through. And I'm going to try and hide that bit on the cable tie. Just snip off. So now we've got our stag in position. I will attach the bow. I like to attach the bow at a later stage. So we're going to bring our foliage up here. Just to add some pieces. This is really chunky. I may have to place these on picks the stem gets thicker as it goes further down. And if you want to turn some of your foliage around so it's all facing the same way, just give it a twist. Sometimes you can do it on elements. Sometimes it is glued on, so you may have to pull it off and reposition it. We've got quite a gap here. If we can just bend that stem. Let's use this one as well. And I'm just manipulating our leaves just to open them out and give them a bit more of a natural look. Like so. Oh, a lovely lady, Angelique, sent me an email with a project she's doing and asked for a bit of advice. And the magnolias that she is using, oh my goodness, they were stunning. The colour blue, and they was absolutely stunning. And the foliage that she was using as well, oh, it was really pretty. Let's just cut that bit off where I've just chopped. I'm just trying to find where the bigger holes are for me to place them in. Oh my goodness. And I'm just going to move it around as I go so I can place it in a little better. I'll place one here. Oh, let's just chop that off. Again, they do go thicker, the stems. Oh, a daisy just dropped one of them. I may bring this one just slightly into the centre around here. Or do I place it up? No, I'm going to place it on a pick because I don't want it coming in too far. Do those. got that on a page. I want to maybe incorporate some of them up here as well. So let's place all the rest I have on picks. And incorporate them on the top. Is it cold where you are, guys? I know I received a message saying off a lovely lady saying it was really cold where they were across the pond. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is bring, let's move those so you can see. Let's get it the right way up. Bring one in there. So I'm bringing these in the center, coming towards the stag. Just so we've got a little bit of foliage on the inner side so it doesn't look too bare. Let's put that on. Like so. And then the rest, what I'm going to do, so I can use them all up, I'm going to place some just on the top, and for that to also give it a bit of fullness and to carry the foliage on so it doesn't look like it's just on the outside. Just lift it up and bend the stem so it's giving that volume. Let me cut them down. And I'm just going to follow this around. Till I get up to the top. So if you have any leftover bits like these single picks, one moment, that one's gone through, so let's reposition it. I don't want it to be sticking through. So if you have any leftover pieces like single leaves, just incorporate them on the top just to give that feel that you've brought the elements in also from the bottom up to the top. So I've just done that and added those in. Doesn't that look rich and lovely? Excuse me. Now I'm only thinking of placing 3 of these ferns in. Probably just one at the top, one at the centre and one at the bottom. And I'm going to go in between these 2, birch at the top. And I'm also going to just bend it over, give it a little curve feeling so it looks like it's got a little bit of movement. Then we'll do one around here as well. Again, bend it at the base of the stem and then near the top, just give it that curve so it looks like it's going over, and then that will produce a bit of fullness and volume to make it look much bigger. So these two here, so bend it up, and then over at the bottom a little curve so it goes like that. Put those back. So that's our fern placed in. Now I've got these where it fell out my bucket. I don't know, they do look nice. Do I just place two in a, chop one up so I can put a little bit on each end? I may do that. Let's just dip it in our glue. So it's like that. So now I can manipulate the eucalyptus to go in any direction with it being wired. So to give it that movement again. We'll chop that one up because it's a shorter stem. And I'll do the same with this one. Let's put a bit more glue on. And then just do the same with this. Move it around. And this one, because they're on paperback, I could pull them off. I think. Oh no, I can't pull that one off. It's a bit tight. So I'll cut. And what I'm going to do with these just little pieces, I'm going to bring and incorporate them within the birch here. Just bring those in there and then do the same at the top. Maybe I'll cut that one in. And incorporate it within this birch as well. And I've got one single piece left, and I'll bring that in. The center with the others. And just incorporate that little bit there as well. So that is our eucalyptus. Now I've got the wispy grasses, but let's place in the gold first. I'll take 5 to start with. And this fern does push up, the one at the bottom, so you can have them as a cluster at the top or keep them down, but further down the stem. So I'm going to bring in gold with the birch up at the top. I'm going to have a bit of the fern about an inch or so away from the one at the top. Just to incorporate that little bit of gold up here. And I may put the cypress leaves, the gold ones, around the edge. Oh, I did have somebody ask me, how do I know when I've chosen my foliage? How do I know it's all going to go together with everything that I've chosen? The way I do it is I choose fuller leaves like this for mainly my background foliage, but fuller leaves, and then I also incorporate airy leaves like this as well, and wispy. So I've got a little bit of each combined together, and once I pick the colour scheme like gold, red and green, I then, because I know that colour does go well together, I then place usually the fuller leaf like the birch on the bottom. Then I tend to incorporate a bit of the airy or wispy leaf, and usually I like to add in a bigger leaf like the fern on the bottom as well, and then also a smaller leaf if it's fuller. Doesn't have to be eucalyptus, you know, you can choose which smaller leaf. And then I will incorporate like a few wispy bits like these grasses as well. So I'm giving a combination of everything. Because I do like to include lots of different textures as well. Some smooth like these and the eucalyptus, then the rough ones, you know, like the ferns. And then obviously by adding different textures in, that also gives that variety of different contrasts with each other, as well as textures. And I tend to like to use fuller leaves as well, which help towards giving a bit of volume. I'm placing these just on the bottom as well. Bring in the gold, because I do like to bring all the colours that I'm using, not just, you know, like the red and green on the bottom, because I'm using red, green and gold. So I will, you know, incorporate the red, green and gold on the bottom as well as on the top as well, which then shows that your arrangement is flowing nicely with the colours, and it looks really pretty. place one more in. I am opening these up because they do come flat like this. And if I just show you for people who don't know, I just try to see where the centre is, because these are folded in half. It's just how they was packed. But once I find that, and then I've opened it like that, I rub my thumb and finger down over the leaves, just to open those leaves up instead of being closed together like that. And then I tend to put a little bit of a bend in the foliage as well. Let's just, and I do that to give that a bit of movement on the cypress leaf. Right, so we've got the gold on the bottom. Right, what I want to do before I carry on now is attach our bow. And I'm going to bring that here. So I'm going to get a weaving needle, just a plastic one, thread my wire through it and bend it over at the bottom in a U-bend so it doesn't fall off the needle. Look where I want to place my bow, and then push the needle through the grapevine, because it's easier to see on the bottom when it comes through, and then just open it up and pull it off. And then I'll grab the second piece of the wire, if I can find it. There we go. And do the same with that one as well. But I won't put it in the same place as I just put the first one, because we do need something for the wire to attach around to keep the bow in place. So I'm going to turn that over, and then here's the wire, so I'm just going to twist like so. Let me just get that and cut that, and bend the wire back over in a U-bend and push the ends inside the wreath till it's flat so it doesn't scratch on anybody's door. And then fluff it up. Isn't that black one pretty? And I want this slightly going down to meet up with the end part of the foliage. I could have it straight, but I want to give it movement. In fact, I'm going to just bend it over while I'm working so it doesn't get in the way and get any glue on. So I'm going to now place on the wispy bits. I'm going to cut them. I've decided I'm going to cut them. So that's 3, 4. Now I've got those, after I've cut it, I've got these left. They would be better off on picks. So I'm going to cut 5. I don't think I need those now. And I just put these on picks and incorporate these on top. So pull them off. We'll place those on picks. Now keep these stems that you've cut everything off, because these come in handy. I mean, I do trim them down so they're neat. So they come in handy for if you are using foam, 2 pieces of foam, and you want to hold it together in an arrangement, or use it as another stem or to go on a flower head that you've got, or you could use it oops, for other things. So I've cut that down, took all the bits off where I've pulled the leaves from, and I will save that. So the wispy bits, I want to again bring. I've used these because they're airy. They're slightly got a little bit of rough texture on, with some spikes on some of the leaves, and also I find it looks quite a Christmassy foliage, with it being very similar to either rosemary or, what could I say, probably pine, a piney feeling, you know, like the pine needles. I mean, I know they're not the pine, but they give off that sort of resemblance. So I'm going to push that in there, lift it up again, give it that bounce and that movement for the volume. Just spread them a little bit so they're not all as a tight cluster like that. I'm opening them up. Just giving that movement, that lovely movement that I love. Oops, I've just pulled that one off. Gosh, I am heavy-handed. Let's glue it back on. So we don't want it coming off. There we go. I mean, if you don't like, you know, too much volume, you can just bring it down a little bit more, you know, a bit more flat than what I've done it. Just give that. So I'm going to place these on picks, these few that I've had left. And I'm going to cut this one off and use the pick on the rest of the pick on the other one. If you want to place a bit of foliage or something around where the stag is, but you still want to keep in mind that you're doing a crescent shape, just place maybe a few little bits of berries or a pine, anything like that. I wouldn't place anything like this with it because it's long and thin, so you'd need more of a solid leaf. So what I'm going to do, like I did with these on top, I'm just going to put in these on top and place them so we've got that movement on top as well, and it adds that interest to it. Like that. So we've got our wispy bits. Now, I mean, with these, I wanted, because I've just got 3 out, I wanted to bring these further up here so they are seen. I don't want them at the bottom. Let's have a look at our poinsettias. So what I'm going to do is bring a poinsettia around there, near the end where the stag is. And I'm going to do one the opposite side as well on the ends. And bring this one around here as well. And I'm going to bring one just under here where the bow is, and have it facing down slightly. And I'll do another one this way, but I'll face this poinsettia going up, following the pattern of the foliage. I'll bring that like that a little bit. I think that it's in the way of the ribbon. So we'll just flatten that a little. I may have to pull that out. Use another one, have a longer stem so I can just lengthen it a little bit. So it's not crushing the ribbon. I'll bend that one down a little bit like that. And then I'm going to bring one coming out from the side as well of the bow. So I'm going to bring this one right around the centre and just have that coming out of the side of the wreath. It's underneath where some of the foliage is. If you want to see it, just lift it a little bit so it's seen a bit more on the side like that. So I don't need that one. Let's have a look. What do we place in? I know I've got quite a bit of red. We need to break it with some more gold. So we could use our bay leaves on top as well. Let's cut that down a bit. I don't want the stem that long. So I'm going to bring some of our bay leaves up above as well. I have had people also message me and say they find it hard when using glittered foliage to fill in gaps, especially when they're just using, they're not using any greenery in colour, you know, foliage that is green in colour. So I do suggest to buy buy some glittered foliage that is, you could, you know, broader, like I've got these, where you could use as filler foliage down the bottom. So because it's a cluster, and you could do that, or get something like the Japanese money leaf, or you could also get things like huckleberry in gold or any other colour. I've got it where you can use as filler foliage as well. So you can get foliage that will act as filler foliage. And I'm going to bring one coming in here. So then I've got 5. I'm just going to turn it around, guys, so I can see underneath. I can just get to the grapevine. Just bend it so it's not leaning onto the stag. I will sort the bow out. I've just placed that one in there. I'm not going to use any more as of yet, because we've got, what I want to place in is some now greenery where it's flocked. So let's get quite a bit out. I don't know how many I'm going to use. We'll take those to start with. So in between, I'm going to add, and I'm going to dot a few of these pine needles around. I'm going to put some on the sides as well. So let's incorporate some along the edge. Again, following it through with the pine needles, what we've got on top, bring it round the edge so it flows. I'm going to bring one here as well. Again, bring it on the edge to incorporate it. Oops, glue string. You could also, if you wish, add in something, you know, with the bow in the center. I think I may do that, because the reason being for that is because there is all the colour around here. You've got your colour of the bow, but the only colour you haven't got in the bow is the green. So I may incorporate just some greenery in colour to go in the centre around the bow, just so it just doesn't look like it, as far as I can see, you know, with my eye, it just looks a little empty around in the bow. So I always do like to add in foliage inside the bow, just to give it, you know, again, the flowing movement, and it all blends together. And what you can do, in fact, push it in, move one of the loops out of the way, and just incorporate it, and then put the loop back, just thread it through. I may place it there actually. I may do that again, because I don't just have one, I like to have about 3. I'm going to stand above it. So I just move the loops or tail ends, whichever's in the way. Look for the grapevine. Place it in. Place the tail end back and the loop. So it's now been manipulated to sit within. Then I'm going to place the third one here around here as well. Again, you don't want the bow to look like it's all by itself. So I'll move that black loop, bring the stem through by bending it, and then just doing that. You can add more if you want. You don't just have to have 3. You can incorporate more foliage. You could put berries in, you know, anything that you'd like. I mean, where's that? If I fancied doing it, I could incorporate just one of these. So if I took one off, let's take one off from the bottom, place it on a pick, cut the pick down and do the same, but then bring this in the center. So I'm going to go around here. I can get it in. Let me just lift it up and push it. No, I can't get it in there for some unknown reason. There. So bring and bend the stem. Upright and point it upright, your stem. Manipulate it to go in the center. So we've just got a piece of that wispy bit in the center as well. So let's put some more around the outer side. Where did we finish? There. Bring one here. Underneath. So I'm just moving it. I don't need any there because any more there as we've just placed that. So then I'll bring my next one around here. I could bring it there actually. Bring one there. And again, there's no particular place that I'm placing these. I'm just sort of like adding 2. Now, if you want them in a position, you could bring that position where you zigzag them. You know, you could have one on the top, then one on the outside, back on the top, on the outside, or you could place one on the outside, 2 on the top, but not directly this next to each other. One a little bit further along and one sticking a little bit out. Give it a, you know, a direction of movement, and add that in also. Where did I put the last one? There. So then bring another one on the outer side, at the bottom. Again, incorporating what we've got on top and on the outside. Now, because obviously the mechanics on here, you can't see them on the top there. I could incorporate one of those there if I wanted, or I could just cut another piece of foliage down and place there. You know, like if you wanted a bit of greenery, you could just place, you know, make like to go on here 2 foliage and maybe a berry or another coloured leaf. Excuse me, or a flower. I'm trying to think which colour. I don't want red because with him being red, so it would have to be a gold. So I could, where's that other one? With the fern, I could cut this down so I can pull one off. Now I could place a fern there. There it is. A flocked leaf. And maybe another flocked leaf. I'm just placing them so I can see which I prefer. And this is just going over where the mechanics is. Or you could actually, instead of doing that, let me get the ribbon. I've got to look which one it was now. Oh, here it is. Get that one. Oops, I'm dropping all my ribbon. You could get a piece of your ribbon. And you could just do a loop here with a little tail end just to incorporate. We may do that near the end. Add that loop on. That would be nice. Right. So now I've chopped this up. Where did I place it? Let's put it back on the stem with that. Put that there. I'll hold that with the pine needles for now. Now we do have our diamante. Let's have a look at the ones with the red. I don't know how many I've got left over. I'd like these to be on top so they're seen. I wouldn't want them to be hidden. Let's just move them around so. You know, just adding these little diamonds in, or diamante berries. I'm not sure if they are berries, but they do look slightly like diamante berries. I'm just having a look how they would sit. Yeah, I think they need to be on top. So how many have we got? 1, 2, oh, 5. That's good. Now these with the crystals on, as I probably use as like icicles. I could bring those on the bottom. I may just use 3. I don't want to add more in, because just to fill in some of those. And then also Now I was gonna cable tie these, but I want them slightly up. I could cable tie them to a stem of what we have in here. I'm just gonna see. I don't want them to be hidden, so I'm just gonna keep it there. I think it'd be hidden there. I think we'll have to be something like that. And then one on the outside, I think. So I'm just going to see if I can get a pick over it. I don't want it to like wobble too much, because there's nothing you can really glue anything on to hold it. If I had something like that, it may just droop. So if that's the case, I could have it drooping from around the near the edge. Let's try that. You do find that you tend to look at all different ways of attaching things. I'm going to just twist it around so it's drooping, it's not, you know, secure, because I've only got a little ring here and I don't have anything thick enough to, you know, a pick thick enough. Let's have a look at these as well. They might be better. Again, this is why I save things like this. That could be better because it's a thicker stem. I think that would be better, guys, than the pick. So just grab something like this that you've saved, and I'm wondering if I can glue it instead. So I'm going to go through there. I'm just placing my pick in. I'm going to go behind one of the leaves. I can lift it up a little so my stem will go behind, and glue that leaf onto that stem. So I've done that. So now that's not moving. So that's just by using a thicker stem. So I'm going to cut that one down. If I can. That's one. I'm going to do the same again. So all I did was get quite a bit of glue on my stem from the foliage that I used. Place it through the hole. There is a bit of glue. Let me just lift that leaf up because it is metal. It can be moved. Lift it up. And then place that leaf on top where that glue is. Wipe a bit of the excess glue off. And again, that's how I've got that. So we'll do that one on the last one. We'll take this pick off. We'll do it again. So dip it in glue. I'm going to lift that leaf up first. And I'm just lifting it up a little bit, but not too much that it's going to snap off. With all the glue on it, you can see it's all collecting. It's still got a bit of glue on the stem. Oops, above. Place that glue, that leaf on that glue. Wipe some of that off. And there we have a secure. It's sticking up like that, but that's how it's going to be placed in. So, and then cut the stem to however you long. I'm going to cut it slightly long just in case I want it to stick up a bit more. So I'm going to place that here. So let's get that there, and as you can see it's sticking up. Let's bring it out a little bit more. I don't want it. Let's move it so it's leaning down. I'm going to do that up above as well, directly opposite where I've just placed this one. So we've got it sitting downwards. So this one I want sitting up. So we'll just place that one. I can push it in. Yeah. There's that one. Lean it outwards a little bit. Like so. And it's bouncing off the red birch. And then I've got this one, and I'm going to have this one going outwards to the side. I'm going to bring that more just above. Let's just get that. And bring that out a little bit here. So it's bouncing off the red fern. So we've incorporated our three, let me just turn that a little, our three baubles or ornaments. We've got those in. I think I may need a bit of filler foliage. I'm not going to use the red, the Chinese leaf. What I'm going to do is get some filler foliage. I may have some oddments as well of it. Yes, I do. But I'll bring the other stems as well, or bunches. Some of this, what you can use as filler foliage. I've got some oddments, but I've also brought out the new ones as well in case I haven't enough. And I'm going to put these in as depth. So where there's gaps, just to fill that in. At least then I can use these oddments up. There's not many. And I have these placed around. To fill in our gaps, as you can see. And I'm going to go around in there. I may, because I don't want to form a ring of the gold, just add in a few pine needles. Let's place one in the centre, under there. So I'm going to need just a few more cutting off. Oops. Let's get one of the bunches. They come all like that, so I'm just going to cut it in half. So it also makes it small enough to be able to place in. And just lift up that leaf. Bring that there also. And with the pine needles, I may just incorporate now again, to bring that flow in, bring a bit of green, because you don't just want a ring of gold. So break it up by adding whether green or red, just to sit there and break up that ring that I've created. Like that. So you've just broke that all up. Right, now I'm going to place in these diamanted berries and place these on top. I'm going to just make sure all the diamonds are facing, or the crystal berries, and either one, it sounds beautiful. And just bring those in as well. I'm going to just add those in. I don't want to really add too much more because it's starting to look a bit quite full, and I'm a true believer that you add too much in and you can make it too busy, so to speak. So I'm going to just add a little bit of these in, turn them around facing up so you can spot the little jaws. It's quite time consuming turning them all around. Because I've got 5, I'm going to go in, then I'm going to bring one out a little bit further here. I'll move the diamonds around once I place the stem in. So I'll bring a little one out here. Turn that around. That's a longer piece. And bring another one in. Oops. And add that one there. Then bring another one, I'd say here on the outside. Follow opposite the bow with that one. I may lift this poinsettia, it looks a bit too sunk. Sorry if you can hear any noise. My cat's running around on the roof. I'm not sure if you can hear her. It's Evie. It's not Marley. It's Evie. I don't know why she does it. No, that one isn't holding very well. It's drooping a little bit. So I'm going to pull it out. Replace it. That's better. Like so. And I've got one left. Now, what I was thinking with this last one, that when we do our just a bit of ribbon here, to maybe cut this in half or thirds and attach, you could even do it on the center, but attach these on to the loops. I'm going to keep that one aside. Now, it is quite full. I want to lift this poinsettia. It just looks a little sorry. I'm going to put it on a longer pick. Isn't that the best thing about having all artificial? You can just pull it out and replace it without harming anything. Or, you know, with real flowers, when I work with real flowers, if you did anything like that, you had more of a possibility of snapping the stems of the real flowers. So I do like this the advantage we have with the artificial. And just incorporating some of the foliage. Right, so then, I mean, I do have again the, I don't think we need these ones around, the crystal ones around the edge. So I'm not going to place those in. Now the ribbon. Let's just get rid of some of the glitter so I don't get it all over the ribbon. I do have to get rid, as though you can still see it's on my workbench, on top of my mat. I do have this little desk hoover, vacuum cleaner, where you just press the button and it lifts it all off. It collects all your rubbish, you know, and I do use that a lot. I'm just using it so I don't get it on the ribbon. So it just clears up all your glitter fabulously. I've had it a while. I got it off Amazon. Right, scissors. And again, all I'm going to do is one loop. And I want to add the diamantes in because these on the black ribbon look like they've got diamonds in. So I'm just going to see how long I'd like some tail ends. Not too long. I don't really want it too long. So what I'm going to do, just start with one. I want my tail ends about 6. We'll start with 6 inch of the tail ends just to be on the safe side. And I'm going to go a 5 inch loop. I'm just going to cut it in half here. And I'm going to measure it with the black, because I don't know if I want 2 tail ends of each colour. And then I'm going to measure it with this one, so it's the same. And cut there as well. I ordered some more ribbon, I think Saturday, and I didn't realise, I didn't think I'd got a certain ribbon, but I had a look, when I was looking for this black ribbon this morning, I noticed I'd already got one of the ribbons, but don't worry about it. So if we leave a 6 inch, so I'm folding it, in fact let's fold it in half together, just pinch, because I am going to separate them. I just want to see what's, yeah, that one will be fine. So then now I know that that's fine like that, the size. So I'm going to pinch these two to start with. Then come round, pinch these two together at the back in between my thumb and finger. But then I want to twist these tail ends because they are facing the opposite way. So you need to just twist them forward like so. Then I'm going to get cable tie. Before I pull it too tight, I'm going to get floral wire, go through the cable tie with it. So pull, snip the excess off, get my floral wire and twist the bow, not the wire. I only do it a couple of times. And then I've got my tail ends. And I'm going to make sure they go black, red, black, red. And then I'm going to part that like so. And with these, I'm just going to do a small diagonal cut like I did on the other bow. Oops, the wrong way. That one's not as straight. There we go. So I've just done that. You may be thinking, well, you'll still see this cable tie on the bow. But what you can do is lean the loop forward, just place a little bit of glue under here and stick it onto the cable tie so it doesn't show. I think they will cut those in up, or you can put a piece of foliage with it. So I'm going to do the same thing with my wire with the weaving needle. Place it where my mechanics are on the stag's foot. One. Make sure I cover the mechanics. So I'm going this side. So it pulls the bow over the mechanics as well. Get it off my weaving needle. And turn it upside down. I don't know if you can see, guys, with me being on the right side, probably out of view of the camera. I'm just going to do what I did with the bow, bend it over the wire, floral wire, and push it back inside the reed. Now I'm going to do that. Bring that one under there. And I'm also going to, I don't know whether to use just a small one of those. Do I use also a little bit of the gold? Yeah. So I'm going to cut. So I'm incorporating some foliage excuse me, in with the bow like I did with this one. And then I'm going to bring these in. So one, I can put this, let's have a look. 2, 3. Oh, I did see earlier, here, a spare leaf that had come off, and again just wire it round, because that's all that they've done, so it stays on there. So they've each got a leaf with them, I think, yeah. So like that as well. So I'm going to cut the pine needle down. I'm going to go in between the tail ends, or maybe come from inside here actually. Just, and I don't know if you can see. And then here I'm going to bring a bit of the gold. And this is to cover our mechanics on the bow. And then I've got our jaws. I'm going to glue that one there. I'm gluing this onto the ribbon. And I'm going to glue them in a triangular position. Just glue that one there. Then our final piece, glue one onto there as well. So that is all I'm going to do with that. Now our tail ends here, the red one is quite long. So I may, yeah, I'm going to cut those, the red one about here, diagonally again. And I'm also going to do it with the black as well. So they're not extremely long tail ends. So that is what we've done. I'm not going to add any more in for our red and gold wreath with the red stag. As a request, I'm just fluffing up I may bring that one slightly out. So that's what we've created today. Just put a band back around there. And again, just using our mechanics by our bow to cover our mechanics, sorry. And if you feel that, you know, you like a little bit more pine needles in or something else that's flocked, or Norfolk pine that may be flocked as well, then, you know, you could add that. I'm not going to add in any more red because it's going to overpower it. Yeah, just got it all over the top. Now I did have bag somewhere. Oh, here. I'm going to put these in a new bag because that bag is torn. If you get like, you order some foliage or flowers and they come in maybe a bag like this, a sealed bag where you've got the zip along the top, save them, guys, because for things like the glitter, whether it be floral or foliage, it is fabulous. It saves you buying any, you know, cuts on your cost of having to buy some, because those paper bags, you know, they're not very good. They do rip. So saving those bags are, you know, a fabulous idea to put in any glitter. And I save them. If I get any deliveries and we've got them in these plastic like sandwich bag type things, then I do save them to put in any glitter that I may have purchased and the bag is torn. So I'm just cleaning up all this glitter here, where all the foliage were. So if you want to do something when you've got a different coloured stag, I do have a gold stag like this. Then I do have a gold glittered stag. I have a silver stag, but that one's spoken for an order. I did have, I think I've used it for a customer. I can't quite remember. I think, if I can remember, last year I did have a navy blue stag with silver horns. So you can get them in all different colours. You can get it in the natural colour as well. Different textures as well. You can also, you don't have to just go for the glitter. You can get the velvet. You can get like a rough straw effect. That's pretty. Anyway, we've got our red, gold and green arrangement. Added in, like the lady asked, for some foliage, a bow and a stag. She didn't ask for these in, I just got them out with the having leaves on, got them out and thought we could add them. You could add them as a cluster if you don't want a bow. Add them as a cluster as well instead of the bow. You could do that. But that's what we've created for today in our reds, golds and greens. Again, if you want to do it in other colours of your choice, if you have a different coloured stag, then that would also be fabulous and beautiful. But again, we just did it what somebody requested. I don't mind. I love doing things like this. Let's see if I can get that around there. Right, let me just turn that around. Get rid of all this glitter again. I do tidy up my workbench every time I do something different, because I don't want mixing glitter on other people's arrangements, what's maybe not their colour. So that's what we've got. You know that blue and orange one there? I told my husband I might put that on my door. And then the red one there, what I've saved. My husband wants that in the house. He loves it. So there, I'm going to place it there. The camera. I hope that you may not be able to get it all in, but majority of it you can see. But we'll place it there. Now that looks really full when I stood over there behind the camera. It looks really full. We've with all the different textures in, and also, you know, just by adding in these beautiful bows and all, just adding a little bit with glitter, the flocked foliage adds to that Christmas spirit and gives you that Christmas vibe as well. And again, these wispy grasses, they're a bit like pine needly with they've got really thin pine needle stems on. So I thought they would be perfect to add in for our movement. You know, if you're a person who likes the compact wreaths, then, and you don't want them sticking out like this or having too much movement, then just cut them down and pull them off, place it on a single pick like we did on with this one, and just dot those smaller ones around instead. And, you know, use the colour. I don't think these diamantes here, diamond berries, are showing really well. So I think that's bothering me because I can't really spot them only on the ribbon. So I don't know. I may take them back out. I think if it was bigger, you'd probably see them. But at the moment, I'm leaving them in. But yeah, and adding foliage in. Again, a solid leaf. Always incorporate a solid leaf in, because if you just incorporate wispy bits like this or like your pine needles, you're gonna end up placing lots in just to cover the areas that you need to cover. So by adding in fuller leaves like this, a bit more bushy, that will cover majority of your area and fill in your gaps. And just like I brought in the bay leaf here, because it's a full leaf, it's not airy like these grasses and the fern, it's a fuller leaf, so whatever's underneath, these are blocking it from being seen. And that's what I mean by a fuller leaf. You start using lots of these ferns, these grasses, you know, even the cypress leaves, you're going to be adding in a lot. You really are. And use eucalyptus or whichever foliage you've got that's a fuller leaf. Incorporate those to cover, you know, areas where you don't want gaps, especially around the side. You don't want to have something here, then a really big deep gap, and then you place in single little stems like the pine needles or these wispy bits, and you're going to be placing in, I don't know, I can't give you a figure, but hypothetically you could be placing in around 20 just to fill in that gap, you know. And but yet you could just get something like this, a bush, place in one stem and it covers it. So that's why I always say use the solid leaves for your background foliage, because that will help cover, as well as creating your structure and, you know, the size of your wreath that you want it to be. It also covers in those gaps, if that makes sense, guys. And again, you don't have to have a bow. Place in a bit, you know, a cluster of Christmas ornaments or baubles, or also placing in, you know, a cluster of poinsettias, or again, Christmas hydrangeas, Christmas roses, anything like that instead. Or you could just place in, if you've got a little sign you'd like to place in there as well, and then, you know, you could put them in. I have different signs. I don't really use them very often, guys, because I'm not really, it's not my sort of style. I love to see them, but I'm more, I don't know what you call it, maybe old-fashioned, I guess. It's not that I haven't moved with the times, I have, but I've got my own style. So, and I'm not one for all these big signs and lots of attachments and things. I'm more for, I guess, as a bit more subtle, you know, with the bows and lots of foliage and things like that. But there's nothing wrong with the signs or the attachments. I've got them, but this is more me, you know, this sort of style. So again, I have an attachment. We've got the stag, but more of a minimalistic person I am. So, but if you like to have the big, you know, attachments and that, and you don't want a stag in there, but yet you may have a nutcracker, a big head from a nutcracker. Add in, and it's in the reds and golds and greens. Add that in there instead, guys. You know, or like I say, or a sign that's Christmas with the reds, greens and golds. Add that in as well with some bows if you like more deco mesh. Place that in. I like deco mesh, but again, I don't do it a lot because not a lot of people where I live order deco mesh or want anything with deco mesh in. So I don't stock it, a lot of it. But give it a go and have fun and enjoy. And maybe you could come up with something that gives me an idea and send me a picture, or you may inspire me to give it a try as myself and see what I could come up with, and maybe in a different colour as well. So just have fun with it, create something beautiful like I know you all can. And please subscribe, share and like. Invite everybody along to come along and have a look, and maybe inspire them to give it a go or start doing artificial floral design themselves as a beginner, and they'll learn, you know, about how to place things, textures, colours, lines, all different things like that as we go along. So have a wonderful day. If it's cold where you are, guys, like it is here, only 39 degrees Fahrenheit. So if it's cold, wrap up warm wherever you are. And, you know, if you don't need to go out in the cold, you know, stay in and stay cozy with a nice hot drink. So have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless and good health. And I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Right, let's... Oh, that is very Christmassy when you stand here, guys. When you stand afar. So let's look at our stag. Let me just press this button and then zoom back out. There we go. It's got a bit of glitter on. I'd have to get the hairdryer on him and blow the glitter off. So there's our stag with the gold horns. There's our cut-out poinsettias, our flocked pine needles that I placed on picks, our wispy grass. Can you see the spikiness? I don't know if you can. Let me put it on my hand. The spikiness on the leaves. So it reminds me slightly of the pine, as you see here. So hence the reason I added it, because it looked a bit pine, as I say, piney. That may not be a word, but and there is our beautiful glittered bay leaf, our wonderful burgundy and red birch, our lovely glittered fern. Oh, here's our baubles, or Christmas ornaments as some of you know them, with the fern leaves on. Our eucalyptus, and this is part of that pick that I had, well, the bunch, where you get this on it as well as the fern, as you know, together. What else did I use? Oh, cypress leaves. Our lovely, these are in a champagne again. I like to use different tones. Our champagne as well, coloured, and our, I found that is apparently called, was it huckleberry or honeysuckle? It might be honeysuckle. I forgot now. Oh gosh. Do you get anything foliage that tends to, it sounds like another one, so you can always never remember which one it is. Let me put my hand behind you, maybe see it. Let's see if it's, yeah, there's the jeweled berries with the cutout gold leaf. There's our lovely red and gold garland ribbon. There's your garland going down. And our black, gold and red, where they look like jewels along the side here in red, but it's just heavily glittered there, which gives off that jewel effect. Again, I don't know what else I've placed in, but I don't know about those jewels. I can't really see them because of all the colour, so I may just take them out. But yes, and then I've used on this one a 5/8 in the centre of the glittered gold as well. And then added in the flocked pine and a piece of the wispy grasses, piney grasses in as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope you give it a go and have fun, whichever colour you're doing it in. And again, if you create something and you want to send me a picture, and maybe again it will inspire me to give it a go myself. So have a wonderful day, guys. Again, wrap up warm if it's cold where you are. Take care and good health, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Bye bye.